What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the MME YouTube channel. My name is Tyler Egan, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing expanding beyond mindfulness for health and for weight loss. Before we dive too deep into that though, if you all take anything from today's video, if you enjoy the content that we share, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and a comment on the video, and please subscribe for more content like this. With that out of the way, let's get started, and we're gonna start this video by referencing a video we shared a few months back discussing the 3 levels of consciousness. Now, if you haven't watched that video yet, I'm gonna give a Cliff Notes version of the video to catch you up, but I want to encourage you to check that video out first. There'll be either be a link down below or a card up above, and then come back to this. But if you don't want to, if you don't have time to, or whatever, that's cool. I'm gonna give you a Cliff Notes version, but you just understand there's gonna be a lot missing that I discussed in that video. So the 3 levels of consciousness. The first one is you are the body. So you are identified with everything that happens to your body. Everything, every circumstance, every time someone's mean to you or hurtful to you, you're just reacting. You're in this state, at this level of consciousness, you're very reactionary. It's very survival instinct oriented. And there's the next level of consciousness, which is you are the mind experiencing the body. So at this level of consciousness, we've expanded beyond the survival instincts. We're not a victim of our circumstances anymore. We are taking action. We are not becoming engulfed in all of our emotions and identified with them. At this level, we're more identified maybe with the intellect or our minds, taking more action. And so you're not getting as wrapped up in everything that happens to you, and you can start to notice your emotions more, the feelings and sensations of your body more. And you're more mindful of it all, right? And then there's the 3rd level, which is you are the consciousness witnessing all of it. So you're not identified with your emotions, you're not identified with your thoughts, you're not identified with your intellect. You are just the consciousness. You have taken the seat of witness consciousness, and you are witnessing everything that your human being, your humanness, is experiencing throughout the day. You're not identified with your circumstances, your emotions, your thoughts. They are just all passing things, a floating stream of energy that is coming to you, right? And now, so why I'm sharing that to start this is because if you are being very mindful on your weight loss journey and your health journey, then you are likely somewhere in that realm of the 2nd level of consciousness. And in order to expand beyond that, we have to understand these 3 levels, right? First things first, I want to say this. There are a bajillion levels of consciousness. For simplicity's sake, we condensed it down to these 3. So we can start to fit where we're at somewhere in the parameters of them, okay? And so you may be somewhere in the middle of them, but in order to expand beyond mindfulness for health and weight loss, we have to understand these 3 levels of consciousness and understand and experience them all, because we are all of them, right? As we continue to raise our vibrational frequency and elevate our consciousness, it can become easier to no longer identify and maybe even dismiss the body. Because the needs of the body and our humanness is primitive. But we are our body, and we are the consciousness. We are both. This is where duality comes in. And I'm mentioning all of this because your body has needs. Your mind has needs. And to expand beyond mindfulness means living more intuitively, living more consciously. Expanding beyond mindfulness means not thinking about every decision you make in regards to your health and your weight loss. Your body understands intuitively what it needs to get you back to a healthy state, to get you back to a healthy weight. And in order to reach that space, you have to learn to listen to it. And so understanding these 3 levels of consciousness and recognizing that we are all 3 of them is the key. And this comes through embodiment. Expanding beyond just the mind. The mind is a phenomenal tool. As Ramdas says, the ego, and the mind is a byproduct of the ego. The mind, or the ego, is a great servant but a lousy master. That's where the taking the seat of witness consciousness comes in. Following the intuitive signals of your body. I spent 4 years personal training. If you're new here, I spent four years as a personal trainer. I could talk tactics, I could talk eating strategies, I could talk all the nuances of health and weight loss to you if you want to go down that route. So if there's something you want to talk about, like drop a comment down below and I will happily dive into it. I love this stuff. The human body fucking fascinates me beyond belief. And it is so unnecessary to analyze your diet and your workout routines and all these other things in order to get to a healthy weight. It's important to eat healthy, it's important to move your body, but unless you're really into it, to finely tune your diet and hyper analyze it to the point where it drives you fucking crazy is so unnecessary. Now, if you're really into it and you really like nutrition, then this probably doesn't apply to you because it doesn't drive you crazy analyzing it. You love it, right? I love breaking down like the biomechanics of the body and exploring how all the dysfunctions within my own body to learn more about it. It doesn't drive me crazy to do so. But if you're tired of analyzing your diet and counting every last calorie and being super mindful of everything you eat and everything you do and restricting yourself, you don't have to do that in order to get healthy and lose weight. You have to expand beyond mindfulness. Take the seat of witness consciousness and follow your intuition, listening to your mind and body and allowing them to work in harmony instead of allowing the ego to control and manipulate every micro movement that you take in your life. All in pursuit of controlling matter to matter to lose weight. You can totally do that. There are so many people who have lost hundreds, 50, all kinds of weight, controlling matter to matter, working really hard, doing all of the diets. There are people who lost the weight doing those things. And that's great. You can totally go do that. But my question to you is that the life you want to live? How many of those people keep the weight off in a healthy fashion where they're not losing their mind trying to maintain a weight? Where they're not working out so much to maintain a specific weight? You do not have to live your life that way. If you want to, cool, this video isn't for you. If you want to live a life where you're following your intuitive signals from the body and moving and exercising in a fashion that's enjoyable and eating in a fashion that's both healthy and enjoyable, then this video is for you because you can expand beyond mindfulness, lose weight, live a healthy life, and still enjoy every bite you eat, every move you make. I mean that from like an exercise standpoint, right? And that comes down to embodying witness consciousness, recognizing that you're all of it. So then the question becomes like, how do we embody witness consciousness? How do we embody witness consciousness? And that comes from owning the truth, taking ownership over the truth. Taking ownership over the truth, over your experiences, over your humanness. And that's why I'm saying understanding these 3 levels of consciousness is a part of the pathway to do that. Understanding it is cool. Intellectually grasping it, awesome. Now comes embodying it. And embodying it comes by owning it. You are your humanness. I am Tyler, and I'm also the consciousness witnessing Tyler. I am the mind experiencing Tyler, right? Because the mind, Tyler is my human body for a moment. My mind is how my brain is interpreting all the sensations that Tyler is experiencing. And then I'm, at the purest of pure, the one just witnessing Tyler and all the shit he's experiencing. Right? So I'm all 3 of these things, and I own that. And this is how we embody it. We own all of those aspects. And that means owning the truth. So if you're at an unhealthy weight, This is one of the things that deterred me from working with a lot of people as a personal trainer and an online health coach. And that was that there were some people that came to me that didn't want to own the truth. And that is that their lifestyle habits were what led to their weight gain. They had a story that gave them a justification to resist the truth. And the truth is, y'all, the way we eat and our lifestyle as a whole is a major factor in the state of our health and the state of our weight. And you have to own that truth. And then you have to own the truth for you. You have to own your truth. And that is whatever your story is. Whatever your story is, whatever the reason is why you are the way you are, whatever the reason is why you put on all the weight, right? And that might be something that is really dense and heavy. A really traumatic experience that happened to you when someone treated you like shit in a relationship, and it led to you emotionally eating to put on a bunch of weight as a protection mechanism to keep you safe. Right? Whether it happened to you when you were 7, or whether it happened to you when you were 27, or whether it happened when you were 47. Right? We can be traumatized at any one of these ages. We can be re-traumatized at any one of these ages. And so you have to own the truth, owning the fact that your lifestyle habits contribute and are a major factor in your current state, your current health state, and then own your specific truth, which is whatever happened to you. And own your role in it. And what I mean by that is if someone treated you like shit, it's not your fault they treated you like shit, but it is your responsibility to do something about it. It is your responsibility to heal the wounds inside of you. And the other thing I want to talk about real fast, again, that's owning your truth, is owning your experience, which is owning your humanness. All of the feelings you feel that led to the weight gain and the unhealthy behaviors and the unhealthy habits is your humanness. I was an alcoholic for, I already forget how many years, 7 years, whatever it was. And my behaviors when I would drink, and that led to me drinking, and all of the things around the drinking were, at one level, they were a genetic predisposition. It runs in my family. At another level, I still chose to drink. Albeit it was an unconscious decision, but I still chose to drink, and I owned that. It took me time. It wasn't always easy, but I owned that. Because when I would drink, I would overeat, and then I ended up being like 40 pounds overweight at one point. I was extremely displeased with my body. I hated myself, genuinely. And I had to own all of that, not just what I had been through that led to the drinking in the first place, all the emotional wounds that were underneath of it, all the poor behaviors that were a byproduct of it, but what I fucking felt. So you have to own all of that without shame, without guilt. Now that might be where the challenging part for you comes in, because it's like you can own that this is what happened, but you feel so guilty about it. And this is where you guys start to peel back the layers and start to dive into your psyche, to dive into your stories, dive into the wounds. And when you do all these things, when you own your truth, when you own your experience, when you own the truth, when you own your humanness, and you release your attachments to all these things, because that's really what blocks us. So many of us are aware of the behaviors. So many of us are aware of the stories. So many of us are aware of the emotions. Right? Like I was conscious enough of my alcohol addiction, but I had such an attachment to the story underneath of it. That's what kept blocking me. So when you can become aware and own these things and then release your attachment to the thing, you release your attachment to your story, to the emotion, because our attachments to the emotions, to the stories come because we are addicted to feeling that way. You're addicted to feeling unworthy. You're addicted to feeling like, for me, it was a loser. That was my unworthiness story, was I felt like a loser. I was addicted to feeling a loser. I was addicted to feeling broken. And we have to own that and release the attachment. And it doesn't happen all at once. Despite what everybody says on the internet, it's like, and just like that, it changed. It doesn't usually happen that way. Sure, you'll release the attachment today, but then it'll come back tomorrow. Because you have neurological hardware that is programmed for those programs to run, for that attachment to run in whatever way, shape, or form it happens in your body. And so when you own your truth, when you own your humanness, when you own the experiences that you've been through, you release the attachments without shame, without guilt, without shaming yourself, without feeling guilty about it. And look, if you feel ashamed or guilty for the things that you've experienced, I'm here to say that's cool. That's okay. You can still heal. You can still do this work. You can still lose weight. You can still get healthy. You can still expand beyond mindfulness and lose weight. And if you're watching this video, you probably are, right? Because when we get beyond all these things, when we release the attachments, when we own these things, when we own the truth, the experiences, the humanness, then the merger happens with the small self and our higher self, right? That higher self that you envision that's healthy and vibrant and unfucking stoppable, and no more pain in the body, no more ailments, no more pills and doctor's visits all the fucking time, and you can finally squat to the ground and pick up the kids or the grandkids or your nieces or your nephews. When you get to that space and there's a merger of the small self and the little self, right? That vision of you merges with the small self that created all the patterns, and you find that harmony and the balance. It's like the merger of the masculine and feminine, the yin and yang. It's the harmony within us that happens, where you don't shame the small self for all of the poor behaviors it picked up as a kid to keep you safe, or as a 17-year-old to keep you safe, or as a 27-year-old to keep you safe. You no longer shame that part of you, but you work with it. And now, like, your addiction to food, your what do they call those things? Eating disorder that was formed as a protection mechanism, whichever one it is no longer a hindrance, it's no longer a curse. It is now, it helps you develop the healthiest relationship with food, where, I hear people say this all the time, where it's like their cooking or food is their love language. And you have such a healthy relationship with food where maybe that's the truth for you. And your relationship with food becomes your way of expressing love to other people. You bake things for people, and you bake healthy alternatives to like cookies and brownies, and like you really start to share what you've experienced through food with people. Right? When that merger happens, we can take inspired action from an integrated place where the higher self meets the lower self, where the higher self picks up the smaller self, where the smaller self doesn't have to act from a wounded place, leaning into all of these unhealthy behaviors because that smaller version of us is scared or doesn't want to get hurt again. Now the higher self is taking the seat, expanding beyond mindfulness, because if we're at a space of mindfulness and we're trying to lose weight from a space of mindfulness, that's great. There's a level of that that's necessary to get here. And now if you're watching this video, it's time to expand beyond that and allow the higher self to guide you by expanding beyond mindfulness. Because if we're just at mindfulness still on this weight loss journey, if we're still at mindfulness on the weight loss journey, then we're still asking the ego to help us lose weight. And the ego is always moving from a wounded space, because that's what the ego is. It's a protection mechanism to keep us safe. It's a protection mechanism of the mind to keep us safe. And so if you're watching this video, if you're ready to expand beyond mindfulness, I mean, if you're watching this, you likely are. It's about allowing the higher self to guide you and merge with the smaller self. It's like picking the smaller self up and bringing it along for the ride. It's not shaming the smaller self for all the bad things it did as a trauma response. It's about uplifting that little shithead. It's about uplifting the little one. And the merger between the smaller self and the higher self. Because if we don't do that and we keep shaming the smaller self, those unhealed wounds will continue to manifest as the unhealthy behaviors that cause the weight gain in the first place. And this is why I'm saying, like, if you want to continue to work hard and grind your way to lose weight, by all means, I want to invite you to do that, because like, I'm not here to tell people what is the best way for them. I'm here to encourage those who don't want to grind their face off and hustle their ass off to lose weight and be healthy anymore. Like, we don't have to. The body innately knows how to get back to a space of homeostasis. And again, this is where owning the truth is important for you. You can't, like, if you, looking at your body, you probably intuitively know what a healthy weight will look like for you. If you're comparing yourself to all of the Instagram models and the Victoria's Secret models or the buff dudes at the gym and expecting yourself to look that way, when in reality, your body isn't anatomically made for that, one. And two, maybe it's not even something you truly desire. Then there are still wounds that need to be healed. And that is how we expand beyond consciousness. It's not about working harder and doing more to lose weight. It's about healing to lose weight and following the intuition to lose weight. You intuitively know what foods to eat, what exercises to do, what your body needs. Maybe not exercises specifically, but what your body needs. What you need as a bio individual. Maybe you need a personal trainer. Maybe you need a group workout class. Right? Maybe you want to go vegan. Maybe you want to try keto. You intuitively know. Again, if you want to talk tactics, I'm totally fucking down for it, because all of these things fascinate me beyond the scope of this video, and we would be here forever if I tried to explain it to you all. The human body is so fucking cool. But it's time to expand beyond mindfulness. It's time to expand beyond the ego and all of the egoic control and manipulation to try to get the body to lose weight. There's a time and a place for it. And if you're watching this video, it's time to expand beyond that shit. Your body intuitively knows. It innately knows what it needs. You innately know what you need to lose weight and to get healthy. Now it's time to trust that. Heal the wounds and let your intuition shine bright. Let the merger of the higher self and the smaller self come together, and let that higher self guide you to the space of health and vitality and fucking vibrancy that you know you desire and you deserve. Be honest and real with yourself. Own your truth and own the truth for you and what your body needs and what you truly desire as a healthy body. If you don't care about being a jacked dude or a jacked chick with a fat ass or big biceps, then don't do it. I tried to convince myself for like 6 years that I want to get jacked, and there's just some part of me that still wants to get a little bit bigger, but like, I want to move like a fucking cheetah, like monkeys flailing around in trees. I don't care about being a stiff jacked dude who can't touch his legs. Again, I want to get a little bit bigger, but like nothing crazy. And I had to own that, and now I have never felt better. And the more I listen to my intuition and what is right for me, the healthier my body gets on its own. I'm not actually doing anything anymore. I am just witnessing it all happening. And if that doesn't make sense yet, it will. Just heal the wounds and follow the light shining bright that is your intuition. I hope this video has helped you all expand beyond mindfulness to reach that state of health and vitality you deserve and lose the weight you have been desiring. If you all took anything in this video, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like, a comment, and please subscribe for more. Peace out, yo.